Jack stepped off the shuttle onto the alien soil of Zeria, feeling the weight of 1,000 eyes judging his every move. The bustling alien schoolyard was a cacophony of sounds and sights, with students of various species mingling, their vibrant hues and unfamiliar forms a stark contrast to his human frame. Jack adjusted his backpack, trying to blend in, but his human features made him stand out like a sore thumb. "Look at the Earthling!" A guttural voice boomed, drawing laughter from a nearby group of alien students. Jack turned to see Zarnak, a towering alien with leathery skin and piercing yellow eyes, flanked by his cronies. Zarnak's species, the Groznak, were known for their physical prowess, and Zarnak himself was notorious for his bullying. Jack felt a surge of defiance but kept his head down, choosing to ignore the taunts. He navigated through the crowd, heading towards the main building, his heart pounding. The hallways were a maze of high-tech lockers and holographic displays, overwhelming in their complexity. He glanced at his schedule, trying to find his first class. "Need help, human?" a soft voice asked. Jack turned to see Lyra, a slender alien with shimmering blue skin and large, curious eyes. She offered a friendly smile, her fingers deftly tapping her wristband to project a 3D map of the school. "I'm Lyra. You look lost." "Yeah, a bit," Jack admitted, grateful for the kindness. "I'm Jack. Thanks for the help." "No problem." "Let's get you to your class," Lyra said, leading the way. As they walked, she explained the school's layout and the upcoming interspecies competition, a prestigious event that tested both mental and physical abilities. "Are you entering?" Jack asked, intrigued. Lyra shook her head. "I'm not much of an athlete, but I love the tech challenges. They're part of the competition, too." Jack's mind raced. The competition could be his chance to prove himself. Before he could ask more, a loud crash echoed through the hallway. They turned to see Grok, a massive alien with a gentle demeanor, being shoved against the lockers by Zarnak. "Watch where you're going, Grok." Zarnak sneered, his cronies laughing. Grok mumbled an apology, his eyes downcast. Jack felt a surge of anger. "Hey! Leave him alone!" he shouted before he could stop himself. The hallway fell silent as Zarnak turned, his yellow eyes narrowing. "And what are you going to do about it, Earthling?" he growled, stepping closer to Jack. Jack's heart pounded, but he stood his ground. "Just leave him alone. There's no need for this." Zarnak stared at Jack for a moment before smirking. "You've got guts, human. Let's see if you can back it up in the competition." With that, he shoved Jack aside and walked away, his gang following. Lyra and Gro hurried to Jack's side. "Are you okay?" Lyra asked, her voice filled with concern. Jack nodded, though his legs felt shaky. "Yeah, I'm fine. Just tired of bullies." Grok gave a small, appreciative smile. "Thank you," he rumbled. "Not many stand up to Zarnak." Jack shrugged. "Someone has to. Besides, I think the competition might be my chance to show what humans are really capable of." Lyra's eyes sparkled with interest. "If you're serious, we could help you. Grok's strong, and I'm good with tech. Together, we might have a shot." Jack looked at them, a sense of hope kindling in his chest. "Let's do it," he said, determination hardening his voice. Jack couldn't shake the nervous energy that thrummed through his veins as he walked through the crowded cafeteria. The interspecies competition was the talk of the school, and the pressure to prove himself was mounting. He spotted Lyra and Gro at a corner table, engrossed in conversation. "Hey," Jack greeted them, sliding into an empty seat. "I've been thinking about the competition. We need a solid plan if we want to stand a chance." Lyra nodded, her eyes bright with determination. "I agree. We need to assess our strengths and figure out how to use them strategically." Grok, munching on a bizarre, multicolored fruit, looked up. "I'm strong, but I'm not the fastest. I can handle heavy tasks and physical challenges, though." Jack tapped his fingers on the table, thinking, "And Lyra, your tech skills will be crucial. We'll need you to hack or disable any tech-related obstacles. I can coordinate and strategize. Together, we can cover all bases." Lyra leaned forward, excitement evident in her voice. "We need to start training immediately. There's no time to waste." Their days quickly fell into a routine of classes followed by intense training sessions. The school's state-of-the-art gymnasium became their second home. Jack's keen mind devised drills that played to each member's strengths, while also addressing their weaknesses. One afternoon, as they practiced in the gym, Zarnak and his cronies sauntered in, their presence immediately casting a shadow over the room. "Look who it is," Zarnak sneered. "The misfit team. Hope you're not wasting your time, Earthling." Jack met Zarnak's gaze steadily. "We're preparing. You should try it sometime." Zarnak laughed, a harsh, grating sound. "We'll see how long your confidence lasts." Ignoring the taunts, Jack turned to his team. "All right, let's run the obstacle course again. Lyra, you monitor the timers. Grok, focus on speed this time." As Grok barreled through the course with surprising agility for his size, and Lyra's fingers flew over her wristband, fine-tuning their strategy, Jack couldn't help but feel a surge of pride. They were making progress, and it showed. After a grueling practice, they collapsed onto the mats, catching their breath. "We're getting better," Grok panted, his face glistening with sweat. Lyra nodded, wiping her brow. "But we need to be perfect. The competition is fierce, and Zarnak won't play fair." Jack sat up, his mind racing. "We need an edge, something they won't expect. Lyra, can you create any tech that might give us an advantage?" Lyra's eyes lit up. "I've been working on a few ideas. Give me some time, and I'll have something ready." As the days passed, their training intensified. Lyra unveiled a series of gadgets designed to give them a tactical edge, from cloaking devices to mini-drones for surveillance. Each new invention was tested and refined, pushing the team's abilities to the limit. One evening, while they were fine-tuning their strategy in an empty classroom, Jack noticed the faint sound of footsteps outside the door. He motioned for silence, and they listened intently. The door burst open, revealing Zarnak and his gang. "Spying on us now?" Jack demanded, his voice steady despite the surge of adrenaline. Zarnak smirked. "Just making sure you're not planning anything unsporting. We play fair, unlike some," Lyra shot back, her eyes blazing. Zarnak's expression darkened. "You better watch your back, Earthling. This isn't over." With that, he stormed out, leaving a tense silence in his wake. Jack turned to his team, a determined glint in his eyes. "We need to be ready for anything. Let's double our efforts." The day of the competition dawned with an electric atmosphere buzzing through the school. Banners flapped in the breeze, displaying the emblems of various species, and the air was filled with a mixture of excitement and tension. Jack, Lyra, and Grok stood at the starting line of the first event, the Maze Challenge, their nerves evident but their determination steely. "Remember the plan," Jack reminded his team, his voice steady despite the butterflies in his stomach. "Stick together and use our strengths." A loud horn signaled the beginning of the competition, and the teams surged forward. The maze loomed ahead, its towering walls and shifting pathways a daunting sight. Lyra took the lead, her wristband projecting a 3D map that updated in real time. "We need to move fast," Lyra said, her eyes scanning the projections. "There are traps ahead." As they navigated through the twisting corridors, the sounds of other teams echoed around them. Zarnak's taunts from earlier still lingered in Jack's mind, but he pushed them aside, focusing on the task at hand. The first trap they encountered was a series of laser beams crisscrossing the path. "Let me handle this," Lyra said confidently. She tapped her wristband, and a small drone buzzed to life, flying ahead to disable the lasers. The path cleared, and they continued forward. Grok's strength was put to the test as they faced a collapsing bridge. "I'll hold it," he grunted, his muscles straining as he stabilized the structure long enough for Jack and Lyra to cross. Jack couldn't help but feel a surge of pride in his team's synergy. Suddenly, a loud crash resonated through the maze, followed by Zarnak's voice. "Thought you could get away that easily, Earthling?" Zarnak's team appeared from a side passage, blocking their way. "We don't have time for this," Jack muttered. He looked at Lyra and Grok, nodding once. Plan B. Lyra activated a cloaking device, rendering their team invisible for a few precious moments. They slipped past Zarnak's team, the element of surprise giving them a crucial advantage. The finish line of the maze challenge came into view, and with one final sprint, they crossed it, panting but triumphant. The scoreboard lit up, showing their team in the lead. Jack allowed himself a brief moment of satisfaction before focusing on the next challenge. The obstacle course required not only physical endurance, but also quick thinking. The course was a gauntlet of towering walls, mud pits, and swinging ropes. Grok powered through the physical barriers, while Lyra used her gadgets to disable any mechanical obstacles. Jack's strategic mind worked overtime, directing their efforts to maximize efficiency. As they neared the end of the course, Zarnak's team appeared again, this time looking more determined than ever. Zarnak's eyes locked onto Jack's, and the animosity between them crackled like static. "Keep going," Jack urged his team. He could see the finish line, but Zarnak's team was closing in fast. Just as they were about to cross, Zarnak lunged forward, grabbing at Jack. A fierce struggle ensued, both teams wrestling for the lead. Jack felt Zarnak's strength overpowering him, but he refused to give up. "Grok, Lyra, now!" he shouted. Lyra deployed a flashbang from her wristband, and the blinding light momentarily disoriented Zarnak's team. Grok used his immense strength to push them back, creating an opening. "Go!" Grok roared, and Jack sprinted forward, crossing the finish line with his team right behind him. The air was thick with anticipation as the final event of the competition approached. The holographic battlefield was a sprawling landscape of simulated terrain, complete with hidden traps and strategic vantage points. Jack stood with Lyra and Gro at the edge of the field, their earlier victories giving them a sense of cautious optimism. "We've come this far," Jack said, his voice steady. "Let's finish this." Lyra adjusted her wristband, her fingers flying over the controls. "I've set the drones to patrol the perimeter. They'll give us a heads up if anyone approaches." Grok nodded, his massive frame tensed and ready. "I'll take the front. No one gets past me." The horn blared, signaling the start of the Capture the Flag event. Jack's heart pounded as they sprinted into the battlefield, each step crunching on the simulated gravel. The holographic environment was eerily realistic, with rustling foliage and distant animal calls adding to the tension. "Remember, we need to be both quick and smart," Jack reminded them. "Lyra, keep those drones in the air. Grok, stay close but flexible." They moved with practiced precision, Lyra's drones zipping overhead and relaying critical information. As they approached the central area where the flag was hidden, "We're close. Be ready for anything." The flag was perched atop a rocky outcrop, surrounded by a moat of simulated lava. Jack's mind raced as he calculated their next move. "Lyra, can you hack the bridge controls?" "Already on it," she replied, her wristband glowing as she tapped into the system. Moments later, a narrow bridge extended across the moat, just wide enough for them to cross single file. They advanced cautiously, but halfway across, the sound of footsteps behind them made Jack's heart skip a beat. He turned to see Zarnak and his team charging towards them, their expressions a mix of determination and anger. "We need to hurry," Jack urged, picking up the pace. As they reached the outcrop, Zarnak's team was hot on their heels. Grok moved to intercept them, his massive form blocking the narrow bridge. "You're not getting past," Grok growled, his voice a low rumble. Zarnak sneered, his eyes glinting with malice. "You think you can stop us, giant?" While Grok held off Zarnak's team, Jack and Lyra climbed the rocky outcrop. Jack could see the flag fluttering in the simulated wind, tantalizingly close. "Almost there," he muttered, reaching out to grab it. Just as his fingers brushed the fabric, a sharp pain shot through his side. He looked down to see a small, dart-like projectile embedded in his skin. "Lyra, look out!" he shouted, but it was too late. A second projectile hit Lyra, and she crumpled to the ground. Jack's vision blurred as the poison from the dart spread through his system. Summoning the last of his strength, he pulled the flag free and waved it defiantly. "We did it!" he gasped, collapsing beside Lyra. Grok, seeing Jack fall, let out a roar of fury and launched himself at Zarnak's team. His sheer strength and rage were enough to scatter them, but the damage was done.